Tonight on Supersize versus Superskinny, a supersized cheese addict...
I'm a human dustbin. I just eat everything.
...and a superskinny obsessive portion controller.
I start my day with 30 grams of cereal, and anything over 30 grams is too big a portion for me.
They'll be confronting their unhealthy relationships with food in a 5-day stay at Dr. Christian Jessen's feeding clinic. And looking back to a time before they had eating disorders prompts the girls to face some important home truths.
Don't shake your head and dismiss it, because, you know, we're not all wrong.
This week's Supersizer is 37-year-old Stu Preston from Manchester.
I love food. I've always loved food. I've been brought up to finish my plate. So, yeah, I do.
There's one food in particular that drives Stu wild.
I like lots of cheese. Chips and cheese, chips, cheese and beans, chips, cheese and gravy, cheese on top of a chili con carne or a spag bowl, cheese on toast, cheese on crumpets. Or just simply cheese on its own.
His girlfriend Anne has recently lost 5 stone and loves cycling, but Stu's stuck in a rut.
Perhaps we're growing apart a little bit because I'm out all the time cycling. We can't spend any time together because of his weight.
Stu knows he's digging his own grave with a knife and fork, so he's checked himself into Dr. Christian's feeding clinic. He's undergone a full medical to establish exactly what his diet's doing to his health. At 27 stone 13 pounds, Stu is a heart-stopping 16 stone overweight. A healthy weight for a man of 5'11" is between 11.5 and 12.5 stone.
Talk me through, then, your weight history as it is. Why on earth has this happened to you?
So I stopped doing exercise and passed my driving test when I was 17.
What about other aspects of your life? So let's talk about sort of sex, life and things, relationships.
Yeah.
Does it affect that?
Yeah, I've definitely lost my mojo. For want of a better phrase, I don't really feel sexy anymore.
Well, interestingly, actually, because we did a load of blood tests on you before you came here, you have a below normal testosterone.
Right.
It's low. And that's almost certainly to do with your weight.
Mentally, I want to do it all the time, but my body's just saying, can't be bothered.
I mean, it is hard in the bedroom because his belly's in the way. He's broke the bed because of his weight.
But Stu is not the only one committing catastrophic calorific crimes. It's time to meet his fellow diet swapper, super skinny 25-year-old mum of 2, Alice Duran, from Devon.
When I look in the mirror, I do not like what I see at all. There's nothing feminine about it whatsoever. All I see is bones.
Alice rigidly controls her diet and obsessively weighs her food.
I have 30 grams of cereal every day. I just have like a really tiny bit of skimmed milk. I always have my lunch at the same time every day. One day I'll have vegetable soup or carrot soup or tomato soup or minestrone soup with bits in. Generally, day to day is the same.
And there's one thing Alice steers clear of.
I tend to always pick the fat-free versions. My diet is definitely a fat-free diet.
Alice's dislike of any type of fat and her strictly controlled diet has left her caught in a potentially dangerous routine. At 5'6½", Alice should tip the scales between 9 and 10 stone. But she weighs in at a meagre 7 stone 13.
I'm really unhappy with my weight at the moment. In the last 3 years, I lost from 10.5 stone down to what I am now. Generally, every day, it just makes me miserable.
It's upsetting, really, when I look at her. Although she's alive, there's no sparkle in her eye.
Time for some straight talking from Dr. Christian.
OK, Alice, what isn't good at all is your rigid military precision in the way that you control your food. That worries me. Tell me about that.
It's just a case of comfortable eating habits. I just tend to eat the same foods over and over again.
You say comfortable. Isn't this a real nuisance?
Not really, because I kind of think it's quite a healthy diet, so I just tend to stick to it.
But as a mum of 2 young sons, this isn't just about Alice.
The kids are getting older. They can see what my eating habits are, and it's scaring me. I don't eat with them, and as they grow up and they start seeing other people's families all sitting down, have meals together, and they're going to start wondering why we don't do it. I just don't want them to think it's normal. I don't want to do myself some serious harm from not eating enough and not be there for them.
Alice and Stu's appetites are poles apart. For the next 5 days, these food failures will be swapping diets to encourage Alice to eat more and Stu to eat less. But before finding out what's on the menu, it's time Supersize met Superskinny.
Hello! Nice to meet you. Oh, God.
What do you weigh?
I weigh 8 stone.
I weigh 28 stone.
28?
Yeah.
20 stone.
Right.
Wow, he's big, and yeah, there's a big size difference there.
I was expecting someone smaller than me, but maybe not quite as skinny as she is.
Now they've weighed each other up, it's time for Dr. Christian to bring Stu and Alice face to face with each other's diets and see what's on the menu this week.
So we're going to start with you, Alice, just because. And we're going to start at the top of the day with breakfasts.
That's my whole week's cereal.
That's your whole week's breakfasts.
That's really small.
It is really small.
Oh my God.
What do you have to say for yourself there?
Sorry.
OK, so I think it's lunchtime now.
That's Melba toasts.
That you have with?
Soup.
Soup really is your lunch of choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every day?
Yeah, every day.
And then finally, dinners. That was a small bowl of porridge. We're at dinners now, not breakfast anymore. What do you tend to drink?
Coffee. Oh, that looks horrible.
So thinking about your kids now on that diet and your kids watching you eating that sort of diet, what are your thoughts?
I don't want them to think that's normal. It's not enough.
It certainly isn't enough. Alice should be consuming 2,000 calories a day, but she's taking on just 1,200, the amount recommended for a 1-year-old girl.
Right, Stuart, then. Starting, as we do, with breakfast. We've got burgers, chips, eggs, beans. What other things do you have for breakfast?
Crumpets, sausages.
Moving on to lunches. Do you have chips with everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your probably one main vegetable, isn't it? Let's go on for dinners and see if this gets any better at all, OK? Here we go. Ooh. A lot of beans. Oh, we're not done with dinners. There's more dinner. What do you put on your broccoli?
Cheese.
What do you put on virtually all of your food?
Cheese.
Everything is in excess. All the bad fats you're having far too much of. Salt you're having far too much of. It needs to change. This is appalling.
Yeah.
It's appalling considering Stu should be eating 2,500 calories a day. Instead, he's packing away 5,600. He's eating for 2.
Heart attack in a tube.
Seeing all my food in that tube, it makes me feel sick.
This week's feeding clinic residents are cheese addict Stu and super skinny portion controller Alice. Stu weighs in at almost 3.5 Alice's, so they've swapped diets to help Stu curb his enormous appetite for fatty foods and to help Alice break her regimented eating habits. Alice's first meal swap is an extra large portion of chip shop chips, full tin of beans and tons of cheese.
Whoa!
Meanwhile, Stu's first evening meal is a precisely weighed out 30 grams of porridge made with skimmed milk.
Right.
Good luck with that.
Hope you enjoy yours as well. So do you think that'll be enough to keep you going until tomorrow morning?
Probably not, no. I don't expect you to finish it all.
Stu may not expect her to finish his supersize serving, but he also didn't expect Alice's supersize secret.
Would you believe me if I told you that I was once 17 stone?
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've always struggled with my weight. When I was big, my favourite food was cheese. Somebody could put like a massive block of cheese and I would just eat it. There is no limit to how much cheese I would have eaten.
After the birth of her first son, Alice decided her overeating had to stop.
I enrolled in a slimming club, so I got down to about 10 stone, and then I fell pregnant again.
It was during this second pregnancy that Alice's fear of putting on weight again took hold.
She panicked and then she started controlling everything, and then she got proper into it again, and she lost more and more weight.
I don't trust myself to eat certain foods. I don't have cheese anymore because I think that is what led me to be overweight in the first place. Sort of like once I get going, that's it then. I'm back onto a road of obesity, as it were.
So this must be pretty bad for you, eating all this cheese, no? You're doing well here. I am amazed.
Although Alice is confronting her biggest food fear, cheese, something is spurring her on.
You all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah,
I
does
suppose it's just that everything I do here is like for them, you know, so that they don't see it. It's hard.
It's only day 2 and already the diet swap is proving to be a struggle for Stu and Alice.
Can't really remember the last time I felt this hungry, to be honest. It is so long ago.
I did get a little bit upset last night, being away from the boys and things like that. I'm really missing them.